Today we're going to get started on our backs. So coming down nice and flat on your mat. But we're going to start in butterfly legs, bringing the soles of the feet together, knees apart. Just letting those hips open up. If this is too much at any point, definitely just straighten the legs back down the mat. Letting those arms be down by your sides, palms up, and let the eyes softly close. Just watching the natural breath, giving yourself a nice moment just to really arrive within the space, to arrive within yourself. Letting yourself begin to lengthen the breath. Nice long inhales, long exhales. Allowing every nice deep breath in to really expand the body. Telling yourself you feel a bit more light and calm. And those nice long exhales, always just letting go of what no longer serves you. Breathe out any last bit of frustrations or pressure, even judgment that sits within. Breathe it out. With those next few breaths, give your body a scan from head to toe. Acknowledge every muscle and joint, all injuries or soreness. Respect that throughout your entire practice. Softly wiggling the fingers and the toes. Beginning to lift those knees back up together as we let the eyes open up. Straightening just the left leg down the mat. Bring the right knee to the chest and hold on to it. Start to draw little circles with that knee, going in both directions. Just really starting to dig into the hip. We want to start to just warm it up a little bit. And still holding on to that right knee, try to open it up, pulling it out to the side. As if you're trying to pull it outside of the ribs, down towards the mat. And then begin to straighten that right leg out. Bring the left knee to the chest, hug it tight. Same thing, drawing those nice little circles, making sure to go in both directions. And still hanging on to that left knee, let it open up, trying to pull it outside of the ribs, down towards the mat. And release, bringing both knees to the chest. Just start to rock a bit back and forth to come up to that comfortable cross-legged seated position. Here we're going to sit nice and tall. Bring that right hand to the mat beside us. We're going to reach that left arm up, really extend it to the ceiling, and then side bend to the right. Take that gaze up, keeping it a little bit active. We want to feel that left hip pressing down as we reach to the right. Really expand that side body. Nice big breaths, letting those ribs open up. And lifting our way back up, left hand to the mat beside us. Reach that right arm up. Remember to extend to the ceiling and side bend to the left. Gaze back up again. This time that right hip presses down as we reach to that left side. Nice deep breaths. And lifting our way back up. We're going to bring those feet out in front of us. Keep the knees bent. Feet about hip width distance apart. Let them rock a little side to side, really trying to press those knees down as they make their way towards the mat. And stopping in the center, feet a bit wider apart, we're going to let those knees drop to the left side. Try to get a nice 90-degree angle with those legs. Walking the hands over to the left side, just outside of that shin. Puff that chest a little. Feeling that right hip wanting to roll forwards and down towards the mat. When you're ready, you can always even walk those hands further out in front, letting that chest sink over the left shin. Let the neck relax. Nice few breaths here. And lifting yourself back up to the hands, still holding where we are, we're going to work with that right hip. As we breathe in, we're going to hold that right hip rolling forwards, trying to lift that back foot up into the air. Exhaling, let it drop back down. Again, inhaling, internally rotate that hip, lift that foot up. Exhale down. A few more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale back up. Exhale down. Another inhale up. Exhale down. Let those hands, your body come back to the center. Of course, we're going to do the right side. Let those knees drop to the right. Try to get that nice 90-degree angle. Walk those hands outside that right shin, rolling that left hip forwards and down towards the mat. Puffing that chest a little, and when you're ready, let it melt down over the right shin, walking those hands further out in front. Neck relaxed. Just a nice few breaths. And starting to come back to those hands, staying where you are, working with that back hip, that left hip. Always feeling it, try to roll inwards, internally rotate it as we inhale, picking that back foot up into the air. Exhaling, lower it down. Keep in mind one side might be easier than the other. Inhale back up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale back up. Exhale down. Last inhale up. Last exhale, release. Bring those knees, your body back up to center. Just swing those knees to one side. Come up to that neutral tabletop. We're going to step that right foot forwards outside of the right hand. To start, make sure the knee's right above the ankle. Drag that back leg a little further away for a deeper stretch. If this is ever too much, if you find your back really rounding, grab some yoga blocks. Place them underneath your hands. That'll lift the chest a bit. If you're ready to go further, roll to the outside edge of that right foot, letting the knee hang open towards the mat. Try to feel that right hip wanting to sink a little bit as that left hip starts to lift. Let that knee just hang open. All the weight in the hands and the arms, that's what's holding your body up. So you really want to try to let the legs have that permission to let go, let them open. A nice few deep breaths. If this ever starts to get a lot easier, you can even come down to elbows on yoga blocks or elbows down to the mat. Try not to round the back too much here. Nice few breaths. If you're on those elbows, start to come back to the hands. A little bit more active just for 2 last breaths. Take that right hand, place it on that right knee. You're going to start to press that knee down as you open your chest towards that right side. Let those hips keep sinking. And bringing those hands back to the mat, lift that right knee, and we'll take our time to switch those legs up. Stepping that left foot forwards outside of that left hand, knee above the ankle. Drag that back leg further away. When you're ready, roll to the outside edge of that left foot. Let the knee hang open. Again, finding that weight in the hands and the arms. Let the legs relax. Let those hips sink. In time, you'll start to feel that left hip wanting to drop, that right hip wanting to lift a bit. That's perfect. Let them slowly become a bit more parallel to one another. Nice handful of breaths. And in time, when you start to feel some of that give in the muscles, that's when you can try to push that little bit further. But if you're feeling so much resistance, if you're feeling any pains or you're holding your breath, don't push. Take that time to just try to rest into the pose. Maybe elbows down to the mat again if you were able to make it there on the other side. Sometimes one side is also different than the other. Be aware of that. Always keep it in mind. Gently coming back to those hands. If you're on the elbows, a little bit active for 2 nice breaths. Left hand to that left knee. Start to press it down as you open your chest to the left side of the mat. Let those hips continue to sink. And bringing that hand back to the mat, lifting that left knee back up. And we'll just swing that front leg back. Let our weight drop to one side. Kick those feet out in front of us. Give them a nice little shake. Coming to our butterfly legs, soles of the feet together, knees apart. The further away your feet are from your hips, that just typically means your hips are quite tight. In time, we'll be able to get them closer to the groin. Start nice and tall. Hang on to those feet. You want to make sure that on that next breath out, you're reaching from the chest forwards and down. Squeezing the shoulder blades together lightly. That way we aren't tempted to round the back. A lot of times we also want to reach with the chin, tuck that chin under a little bit. If you want to keep it slightly active, feel those knees pressing down towards the mat as you try to reach that chest. Otherwise, let those hips relax and just continue to sink the chest towards the mat. Just a few breaths. And start to lift that chest back up. Maybe use those hands to help bring the knees back together. Rock them a little side to side. And stopping in the center, coming down onto our backs. Keeping the soles of the feet to the mat. We're going to walk those feet further apart from one another, maybe edges of the mat or outside of the mat. Let those knees drop together in the center. If you want to take it even further, walk those feet further apart. Let the knees just hang in the center. While we rest here for a nice few breaths, maybe resting the hands on the stomach, and really try to feel those deep breaths, allowing the stomach to fill and rise. We want to always try to breathe mainly from the abdomen. Keeps us a lot more calm. When we tend to always breathe from the chest, it can give us those feelings of anxiety or stress. We try to breathe down from the stomach. Still letting the back of our hips open up here. We tend to always work on the front, so we want to make sure we're opening the back of the hips as well. Sometimes if we're really tight in different spots, you could feel it anywhere from the low back to even the hamstrings. But eventually that feeling will make its way to the glutes, even towards that tailbone. Gently starting to lift those knees apart, walk those feet back together. We're just going to straighten those arms and legs down the mat. Let those feet even still come to the edges of the mat, ankles hanging open, just still letting the hips gently be opening up. Tucking those shoulder blades underneath, let the eyes softly shut. Just taking a nice few breaths, natural breaths here. Allowing everything to just be for a moment, enjoying the feeling within our body, feeling that little bit more open, at ease, less physical tension maybe within the hips. Still feeling lighter with every breath, and naturally breathing out any last bit of heaviness within. Softly wiggling the fingers and the toes. Reaching those arms up overhead. Take that long body stretch. Maybe even point the toes as you do. Leaving that right arm where it is. Bring the left hand to the stomach. Bend at the knees, softly rolling to that right side. A nice moment in the fetal position. Still keeping eyes closed, use those hands to lift your way up to that comfortable cross-legged seated position, just to sit tall once again. Palms up over the knees, shoulders dropped. Begin to exhale all remaining air. Taking one nice deep inhale through the nose and sigh through the mouth. Bringing those hands together at heart center, rubbing those palms together, all that nice heat and energy. And place those hands over our belly buttons. Just feeling that heat, that energy flowing back in. Let it surround our hips, making everything nice and warm and comfortable. Bringing those hands back to heart center with a few gentle blinks. Let those eyes begin to open. Namaste.